Hello everybody, welcome. Today we have Mindset of Champion podcast and I have a very special guest. It's a very special guest because, I knew my special guest when she was still a teenager, long time ago, well, probably even before that, if I remember correctly. And we've been in touch, then I left, and now thanks to the social media we managed to get in touch together, and I discovered that my friend from distant past is a champion actually. Natalia Wilk, she's a free diver, she's an artist, and she's first and foremost friend of mine. So Natalia, welcome on my show. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Hello, hi everyone, and thank you very much for an invitation.
It's great having you here. Well, Natalia, I already did say that you are a free diver, but tell us a bit more about what you do and what your successes are.
Okay. So I will maybe start shortly saying what freediving is at all, in general. So yeah, it's basically diving without an equipment, without additional equipment, so only using your own breath. In this regard, it's diving on a breath hold. Yeah, and then, well, nowadays you can also see a difference between recreational freediving and sport freediving. It also became a sport discipline, not yet Olympic, but there is a there is a group of people trying to get it to Olympics. Everyone can have their own opinion about it. Yes, but it's also a sport. That means it has rules, it has disciplines, competitions, records, and so and so. So that's what I do. And in a way, I started to do it also professionally. I started in 2019. For real. I mean, I got hooked kind of in 2015 already. It was the first time I heard about it. And then in 2019, I had a chance to start with the first course. That's what I did. I did a level 1, level 2, level 3 instructor. And then after quite some time, I also decided to start competing. Yeah.
And that's perfect. So that's the sports, like a sports side of your life. What about the artistic side of your life? Tell us a bit more about that as well, please.
So, well, basing on my education itself, which is Master of Art, my other profession is being a, well, technically speaking, it's an actress in dance theater, but I like to say it's a dancer and choreographer. So that's also what I do quite not as often as I used to be honest, but yeah, that's quite my main occupation. I work with mainly with choreographer from Berlin, with Isabel Schad. It's already 8 years that I collaborate with her. So yeah, presenting my things on stage and so on. However, it was around 2020, I believe, so around 2 years ago, with this Corona crisis time, where I got to I found a decision to really focus my artistic work mostly in water. So I really didn't. I mean, there was also not that many opportunities to perform in general on scenes, but and back then I decided, okay, now I really want to focus only on underwater dance, and ever since 2020, that's really my kind of main artistic expression, and my artistic language is really in this underwater dance. Yeah.
Fantastic. So basically now your sports life and the professional / artistic life, it's connected with water. That's your focus right now. Okay,
Yeah,
what about the recent record? Because that's actually how I got in touch with you, because on my Facebook, the picture appeared, and it says there that you broke another record. Yes.
Yeah. That's you talk about the national record in one of the disciplines of freediving. It's a constant weight, no fins. That's a discipline of diving into depths. In this regard, without fins. So you kind of do a movement for a frog style, for a classic from swimming, let's say, and you go to a certain depth and you go up. Yeah, that's a national record. That means it's a record for Poland. And except from that, I also have 2 other records, which that totally depends on a classification, blah, blah. I mean, of course, when you start to get a bit more into sports, you recognize that there are different organizations and blah, blah, blah. Everything is a bit more complex. Yes. However, this one is kind of like an absolute 51 meters depth record for no fins. I do have another 2 that are done in the lake, so in a fresh water. Also in constant weight no fins and in constant weight B fins. That were done in Polish Lake Hańcza. That's the deepest lake of Poland, well, deepest that is possible to dive in. Yeah, quite colder waters, thicker neoprene. Yeah, so I also have those 2 records.
Fantastic, congratulations. And that's a lot. Well, if we think about you being quite new in professional sports, but yeah, which one would you consider your biggest achievement so far?
Yeah, I was thinking about it. I mean, I saw your questions before and I was like, what am I gonna say? Well, the one for no fins is like, it's really very special to me. Also because I kind of I really took a long time to prepare for it, and that was really like the one that is kind of the most awaited, and it was done in a very beautiful conditions, and so it's really a very dear record for me. But to be honest, I have one that is not at all a national record. So let's say from outside it doesn't look so prominent. However, for me personally, it's much more important, and it's holding my breath for over 5 minutes. It's 5 minutes 24 seconds. That's my personal best, so-called. So the best personal achievement, let's say, and it's done in a discipline that I really don't like that much. So that was for me kind of a surprise, and it was also done in such a pleasant way. And so, and like for me to hold the breath for more than 5 minutes was kind of something that I was not really able to believe I'm even able to do. And then when I actually did it, it was super pleasant and easy. So yeah. For me personally, actually, this one has much bigger weight, you know. However, from outside, of course, the national record sounds more prominent. I totally agree.
Definitely. Yeah. Definitely they do. And well, I'd like to mention one more thing in here, because people might not know it. I didn't know, but well, you explained me how it works. With free diving, it's not that you go down as far as you can and then you decide to stop and go back up. You need to declare how low you're going to go. And when you get there, even if you feel that you can, you're not allowed to go deeper. You need to turn around and go back up. So it's not like in other disciplines, because well, when you run any distance, you don't declare how fast you want to do it. You just go as fast as you can, and you might have a better day. You might be better prepared at that day. Something might be different, and you just break the national world record. With a free diving, you need to declare, I'm going that far.
Exactly.
And if you have, I don't know how great day, you're not allowed to go any deeper.
Exactly that. That also changes a bit the whole, I'd say a bit of mindset, no? It's like you have to prepare everything for this one day. And it's kind of like, I mean, I'm not saying that it's your last chance to do things, because of course there is another competition coming and so and so, but like, it's kind of doesn't matter if you, like you said, it doesn't matter if you feel better or worse, blah, blah, blah. This is your declaration, and you really, like, you cannot go farther. Of course you can go lower, meaning you can early turn, so called, and of course there is a penalty for it, and so everything, I mean, there is never a bad reason to early turn. If this is not your day, if your equalization is not working, if anything bad happens, okay, you just go up. That's not the last day of your life, you know, like you will always have time to make it better and proper. However, yeah, that's absolutely it. It's like you declare and you know what you're gonna do, no? So very different. Like there is of course a lot of hesitation, like, ah, damn it, will I manage to do it today, you know, like that's such in the future. You cannot really know. You just have to declare and trust that will make that you will make it. Yeah.
Oh, well, it's the very well specific mindset in here. But that's sports. What about your artistic side? And what about working with other people? How do you find this? Well, why it is something that is important for you? You could obviously be on the stage, but you decided to be in the water and you decided to work with people as well, one-to-one. Why?
Well, a good question. Why? I'm not so sure why. I mean, I do like to share with what I do, and it's in terms in water, it's actually both as a freediving instructor, but also as a water provider. I do this aquatic therapy. I also teach swimming, to be honest. Like I also have a very specific way of teaching swimming. I'll maybe say about it in a moment. Yeah, I have no clue how to answer the why question. I just do it. I mean, I just see it of course brings a lot of satisfaction as well to like to invite people to water and like be able to show how do I see it and how do I perceive the contact with water, and then observe how it works for them and how maybe they change their attitude. How often actually it kind of makes their life or performance or ability to swim better, no? So yeah, I do the classes from underwater dance, and similar like to my teaching swimming, I invite people to water and then give them a lot of space and time to actually discover how their body behave in the water before we think about any technique or before we try to start to swim. In general, for me, swimming is basically staying on the surface of water. I really like to go under. So I kind of try to convince people to not fight with the water, but actually allow themselves to go under and like to, in this regard, sink. And then build the trust, no, with surrendering at the end, no. It's like also not speaking, no, because I have a background of swimming and I love swimming. I love this sport, no. But I just think that there is a bit more than goal and being faster and training. But I think there is much more in the water, and I like to come from this more psychosomatic approach to then build up on this, no, and then make your technique better, make your feeling of the water better, and then probably also changing a bit the mindset and like focusing on yourself more than on competition. Yeah.
Okay, and it's perfect because I liked when you said that it's not about fighting with the water, it's about surrendering and like working with the water. However, I think I want to cut it here, leave it as we said it, and have another conversation in terms of stress management. Just based on what you said.
Yeah, sure.
But that will be another conversation.
Okay.
Although I do want to ask about difficult moments, not about stress management like itself now, but throughout all this, I'm sure you did. Well, I talk to athletes a lot. I know a lot of them. Well, having national records, international records, well, Olympic medalists, they all went through difficult time and they all went through a lot while doing training. And well, I wouldn't believe if you told me not at all it's all pleasure and joy. It's not. I know it's not. So tell us about, let's call this your lowest low. What was the hardest so far, well, on the way to those records that you already told us about?
Yeah. Yeah. I think I had two moments that were really that were just hard. I mean, also from the time perspective, you know, you stop thinking about them as hard ones because you see the beauty of them, no, and you see what they brought and what they learned you and so on. You actually start to be thankful for that. But yeah, if I think of it like quite objectively, I think that was quite lows. First of all, the beginning. I mean, when I found out about freediving and world underwater, and I fell in love with the coral reef, and so I had absolutely no money. I was broke, like tremendously broke, no? Till the degree it was around the time that I moved to Berlin. I didn't have a place to stay. I actually was a bit homeless for 3 months. Like in general, for me, the first 3 years of living in Berlin was, you know, moving out and in for 17 times. So
Wow.
I often had a situation where I was just staying by some friends and like had so zero budget, like not being even able to pay for the rent. And so that was quite hard because when you are in a situation like this, it's super hard to get out with your thinking, you know, beyond managing the very primal needs, no, like food, like sleep. And of course, I had a big dream of like training freediving and make courses and so. And the courses were, of course, are so expensive, no? And I'm like, oh, okay, how am I gonna do that, no? So that was quite hard. But but now I mean, in a way, if you know that you want to do it, you find the ways, no, to manage. It doesn't matter that it takes time, and so okay, it takes time, but so what? No, you have a dream, you chase it, you chase your rabbit. And so that was one thing, and then the other thing was actually when I finally had courses, and I actually had it was Corona time for me, the most beautiful time ever. I managed to live in Egypt for half a year. I had perfect condition for training, and I mean, there was not so much job, of course, no, but Egypt is cheap, so I was managing well, and so. However, I was so super blind with my how to say, like with my goals, you know. I was so much chasing, like so hardcore chasing the rabbit, that I really overtrained massively. It was half a year in which I did not even go for a single trip in Egypt or something. I was terrorizing my boyfriend and like not allowing him to go anywhere because I needed body to train. And so I was really a bit too harsh on myself. And I think specifically in freediving, it brings a massive setback. So I was like when I came back to Europe, I checked my blood, and so I was so super low on all micro and macro elements, vitamins, and so I had almost half a year of diarrhea. I lost a lot of weight, a lot of motivation, and the worst is that this more and more training did not really bring results. I was completely stuck at certain depth, and it was not going deeper, you know. I was like, okay, damn it, this is it. For half a year, like most of the time, if people have half a year dedicated for freediving, they go super beautifully forward. For me, not at all. I was stuck for almost 2 years actually on one depth. And and then I took a massive break. I came back to Europe, I took a massive break, and I came back to freediving with a coach. And that was
perfect.
That was completely a game changer for me, to have someone that was like making plans for me, discussing things with me, and in general, actually, to have someone that once a week will ask you what you did, and you know that you will have this one meeting a week, you know, where you will have to like say, okay, I followed this or didn't follow that, and blah blah blah. It's just so motivating. It's like literally, I would never think that I mean, I guess that's kind of not your first need, to pay someone to tell you that you have to do things that you have to do. But then when you actually do it, it's amazing. I mean, I don't regret a single penny that I paid for a coach. It's and I also was really lucky with great freediving coaches. So, yeah.
That's good. That's very important what you said, because well, clearly we have a story of having a passion, working on the passion, but with well, in the wrong way, with negative side effects.
Mm.
Then finally, well, having a breakdown and well, just going back and trying to get the life back. And I mean, like, no chance to well, follow through with the passion, but well, biologically getting the life back.
Yeah.
And going back to where you were, but with someone who has the know-how.
Yeah.
And that's where all the good things started.
Yeah, totally. No, it was a game changer. And I mean, also because I think I understood also that periodization is very important, that you cannot just like force yourself to do everything at once. And it also changed my time perspective. I just understood that I don't have to achieve everything now. And also because I love this sport. I mean, I want to be with this sport for maybe my entire life, then why in a hurry? I mean, I think I started to appreciate much more the slow adaptation for the body, for the pressure, for the CO2 tolerance. And so like I just started to see things in the years perspective instead of a month perspective, So yeah, that's totally, I mean, it's very much changed my attitude towards the sport. And yeah.
That's fantastic. That's great. And well, we know that you work with people as well, because you did tell us about that already. You see, when clients come to you, when you have like classes, or when you work with them one-to-one, is it easy to recognize that they are going through something difficult when they come first to see you?
Oh, well, it's not my amazing ability. It's simply the fact that I work in water that shows it immediately. I mean, the water doesn't lie, If you come with the stress, if you come with the attitude of achieving and like making goals, and so the water will give it back to you in a moment, and it will simply also not accept you in a way. And to sound a bit more concrete, what I mean is kind of more we stress, more we tense. More we tense, less can we stay underwater, less pleasant it will be. If it's not pleasant, then your nervous system will be like constantly beaten. If your nervous system is constantly stressed, at a certain point it will say, okay, this is enough. I hate this sport. Don't do it ever again to me. So this kind of blockage that we actually create for ourselves, and I actually think that this is where I also brought myself when I overtrained at the end, and so yeah, of course you see it with the people. I mean, you see how they behave underwater. You see that they don't trust themselves, or they go super fast. And I'm like, yeah, you have so much time. I mean, you have so much oxygen, but they go super fast. Why? Because they are stressed. They are not yet adapted. They don't yet allow themselves to actually feel where they are. So this is something that you really see. And also with the massage, with the therapy, well, it is a therapy, but I actually use it more for the relaxation purpose. So in Watsu, the water shiatsu that I do, that's a type of a treatment that quite immediately shows if there is a tension, emotional or physical. A lot of people, if they allow themselves, but if they do, a lot of people cry or start to laugh panically, or or they kind of don't go back, like I finish the treatment and they are like, okay, like they want to stay alone. They don't have words to speak about what they went through. And so, but so that's also this is a treatment where you don't know what it is, what they go through, but you see that maybe for the first
Mhm.
time since long, they allowed themselves to actually feel these things, no, and to release this stress, like release this tension. As so many people after this report that they feel like they felt like in a mother's womb or so, and I find it also very beautiful. I mean, I don't know if that means that they went through something hard, but definitely deep. I mean, if you have this type of comparison, that means yeah, that's really
Yes, well,
that's
I
something
think
for
I
me.
know what you're talking about, because sometimes people tell me, well, especially high achievers, they say, well, actually nothing really that bad happened, but it was just building up gradually, and suddenly I was out of control and I crashed.
Yeah. Mm,
And that's, well, like high level executives, that's what they say.
mm,
And I believe it might be like this, and all the tensions that we cannot cope with them on a daily basis, when the time comes, they just need to get out of the body
exactly.
and will bring peace
Yeah.
to us. So yeah,
Yeah.
you gave us good example. To be fair with you, I feel like well, just going and have some classes with you, do some diving, go to the water, and then have a watsu
Mm-hmm.
to
Cool.
relax and to calm down, to release the pressure, because well, I had more of it recently,
Mm,
so it would have been nice. Well, and I think when you're around,
mm-hmm.
when you come to visit, or when I will be in Berlin,
Yeah.
well, we definitely gonna have to do it. I want to try it. I want to see how it is,
Super. Yeah. Yeah.
for sure. So
Great.
that's definitely. But saying that, well, if someone else wanted to see how it is,
Mm,
how they can contact you generally, to just well, inquire, to get in touch, to ask something, or
mm-hmm.
even come and see you privately on the one-to-one classes,
Mm-hmm.
how people contact you then?
Sure. Well, I have a website through which it's very easy to contact me. Of course, there is my email and all my contact data. It's www.danceanddepth.com. But I hope you're
Yes,
gonna also just publish it, because it's
yes, I'm
there
going to
to
include
read,
all
no?
the links
Yeah.
in the description of this video, of course.
Exactly, exactly. Well, I
Or
also
the
do have
podcast.
a www.nataliawilk.com, but that's more artistic one. I do have Instagram and Facebook, both of them wilknatala.dance and depth. And in terms of one-to-one, well, I'm a bit mobile, to be honest. I'm quite often in Berlin. I'm quite often still in Deep Spot, Poland. I used to work there, but now I come back there every now and then to teach freediving courses and do underwater dance workshops. In terms of the therapy of the Watsu, yeah, my favorite place is Berlin. There is an amazing pool that is just perfect for that purpose. Yeah, and if I have time and I'm able to, I'm probably gonna be somewhere in the open waters, and it's mostly Leipzig and I mean the area around Leipzig with the lakes in summer, or sometimes Egypt, sometimes other place where I train for the depths. Yeah.
Well, so basically the best thing is to, well, check your website and see what is actually happening right now,
Yes.
and where to get in touch with you, or just simply write an email or call. Yes,
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
perfect. So for this podcast, before I let you go, I have a question, and it usually starts: if you met a young person who
Mm-hmm.
wants to start his or her adventure with a, well, and here I will name the sport, or just say generally sport, but I need to say free diving, but I must change it, not a young person. Well, I'm in my head and in my heart I am young, but biologically not that young anymore. So
Mm-hmm.
if you met a person
Mm-hmm.
who decided at any time, any stage of the life, maybe because he or she just retired and has more time. If you met a person who told you that he or she wants to start adventure with a free diving, what just one piece of advice would you give to this person?
Go for a course. Go for a course, try free diving. Check it out, simply.
Simple as perfect, fantastic. I believe it's based on your experience while doing all the trainings without any help, any support, and ending up burnt out and physically ill, we can say.
Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect. Well, so guys, we have a golden advice for today. If you want to do something new, something that you have no knowledge of, just ask professionals. They are there to teach you and to help you to do everything better. Well, Natala, thank you very much for being my guest today. I'm definitely going to ask you to join again and tell a bit more about dealing with stress, using water as as your therapist, I would say. Of course, with professional watching over you, but I definitely want to talk about this. Me myself, I have great experiences with water, and when I meditate, the best meditations I have, they are always in the water.
Wow.
So I need to say yes. Water is doing something to my body that I don't understand, but I would like to talk to you about this. But as for today, thank you very much for being my guest. Thank you for very much for sharing your mindset of champion. And I'm looking forward to talk to you again.
Super. Thank you very much for the invitation and hear you soon.
See you. Bye-bye.
Ciao.